So I didn't submit the whole dream because I have dreams that are too long and detailed for your preference usually, but I picked a smaller part out of a larger one that just stuck out. Hold on, I closed the window where I had it open. All right, there we go. I'm just going to read it as I wrote it, and I have a couple things to add after it that happened after I submitted it that seem a little relevant.
Okay.
I was in the basement of my childhood home playing Mario Kart. Something about the game was frustrating me, so I paused and chose the option to quit out from the race I was in. Instead of kicking me back out to the main menu, the game instead put me in an online match with other players. I tried to pause and quit again and again, but each time it just put me in another online race. Eventually, I forced the system to reset so it would do what I wanted it to do. Now, when I did this, I heard a sneeze from my right. Someone sneezed, and because it's in my house, it was just my mom over there to my right working. I turned to look at her, and about like 10 to 20 seconds later, I saw her sneeze without sound. It was like it was desynced. What I saw and what I heard was completely out of sync. When I told her what I saw, she guessed that maybe there were experiments going on somewhere that were messing with the flow of time. And I didn't say this out loud in the dream, but I thought of CERN in the moment. Like experiments that they were doing, but I didn't really know exactly what she could have been referring to. Anyway, that's just the part of the dream I submitted. And that dream occurred on January 12th. 10 days later, as I went to write down my dream on the 22nd, right before I started to write the dream down, I heard in my spirit, it sounded like Amanda Grace's voice, and it was just one sentence. I hear this concerning CERN. Torch is the word. And one last thing to add, because it might be relevant, I'm not sure. I was specifically, when I said I was playing Mario Kart, I was specifically playing on this thing. It's the Wii U. If you know what that is, fine. If you don't, whatever. But it's a system that didn't really sell much when it was out. In fact, it was considered a complete flop, a failure. And I was thinking today about when I was coming on the stream to talk about this stream, I heard dead system. Like, it didn't sell well. Complete marketing failure, dead system were the two words I heard.
Wow, that's interesting. I love how you're putting the pieces together. So that shows, the culture of spiritual intelligence that, you've been around for a little bit. And so I think you're starting to see some of those things, and just the way that you're even sorting and sourcing your information is really good. For those that are listening and may not have heard of spiritual intelligence, one of the things that we do is sometimes we look at different dreams or even real life events that are happening that may confirm what's happening in your dreams. That's a little bit of more of an advanced level of dream interpretation. And we use it like sourcing intel, like the Central Intelligence Agency centralizes information from 17 intelligence agencies in the U.S. government to put together the briefing that goes on the president's desk every morning. So it's interesting that there were some premonitions, there were some things that happened in your dream, there were some things that were out of sync, and then there was some stuff that happened in real life, and then some things that you heard later. So here's what I see. Mario Kart is a racing game. So it's the idea of getting in the race, but it's the virtual race, because it's not like you actually driving a car in the dream. It's like you pretending to drive a car in a video game. And so there's a virtual race that God wants you to get involved in. I feel like this may have to do particularly with a new technology and or finances. Could be crypto, could be NFTs, could be meta. It's something on the tech side, I believe, that God wants you to get in, and even as an early adopter, to begin to take ground. And every time that you're like, no, I'm done with this, I'm trying to exit, it reboots and it puts you in another community with other people, and you're still racing. And so I feel like there's something that you may have looked at technology-wise that God wants to explore with you, and he wants you to be involved in, but maybe the timing was off. And just like when you said, when you heard the sneeze and you looked over and 20 seconds later you saw your mom sneeze and it was like a poorly dubbed Japanese movie, you're like, okay, well, maybe it was just the timing was off. The CERN part is a whole nother discussion. We've
Yeah.
actually looked at putting a dossier together on CERN. There's a lot of people having a lot of dreams about CERN. We call it discernment when they get a CERN dream. You know, but
It's funny you mention a Japanese movie. The only reason I associated CERN with time travel is because of an anime where like they're the bad guys in the anime, and I don't want to explain the whole thing, but it's a whole show about time travel basically.
what anime is it?
Steins Gate.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
too confusing to try to explain.
yeah.
But,
There's a lot of stuff that if you really go down the rabbit hole, the idea of even the Mandela effect. You start to look at, if you're familiar with that, great. If not, look it up. But there's some things that feel like they're out of sync in our world, and there's a lot of interesting different theories on those. But and I'm not going to go down those roads today because we just simply don't have time. But here's a thought that I want to leave you with. If there's something out there that is beyond your level of experience, that is so far out there that we don't even know about, how would God tell us? And I think one of the things that he would do is use dreams. What if, whatever you want to say, whatever possibility, people always go like aliens. What if aliens or space flight or time travel or any of this stuff was an actual thing that was happening now in our world today? And just because we're unaware, we don't know that this type of stuff is happening. How would God wake us up? Well, a lot of times he wakes us up using dreams. And so I would go down, especially if you've had several dreams on CERN, I would go down the CERN rabbit hole and begin to catalog those dreams and look at them. But we've had multiple dreams on time travel. And I think that's interesting. I think in your dream in particular, though, it represents something that's out of sync. And the number 20 is significant. The 20, by the way, that first thing that comes to mind is
20?
when Joseph interpreted Pharaoh's 2 dreams, he put 20%, the actionable intelligence was put 20% during the years of plenty into storage in the walls of the city to save up for years of famine. And so again, I feel like this may have to do with a financial investment. It may have to do with something like crypto, NFTs, Meta, being an early adopter, being early in the race. And even though it's something that you may have thought, I'm done with this, I'm going to exit out, you try to exit out and God positions you back in with a different group of people. So even if there's something particularly on the investment or the financial side related to tech that God is speaking to you about, submit to the process, learn more, and instead of trying to exit out, just get a new community of people around you that are going to help you win that race.
okay.
Awesome, man. I love your dreams. You always have really cool ones.
And that's only like a third of the dream. There's like another giant part of it with like waves crashing and Dave Scarlett shows up and it's all crazy.
Well, send it in. Send it in to us. I'd love to take a look at it.
All right, I will. Thanks.
All right. Thanks, Brad.